Good afternoon and welcome back to the West Ham Network. This is your early Hammers headlines in association with our good friends over at Knees Up Motherbound, KUMB.com. Get across there, check them out. Fantastic content as per usual. But I'm here bringing you some of the stories of today. Listen, they're all led by one thing and one thing only, and that is the man at the top, the man that's in control of team selection, the man that's in control of formations, the man that's been in control, that's brought recent success to West Ham. But is his time up at the club, as we're learning from sources within inside the club again, though, again, I have to reiterate again that Moyes' talks of a new contract have stalled. You've got Clarence Hugh, you've got ex-WHU employee, all coming out saying they spoke to sources close to the club. And the situation is we do have sources that are close to the club, and that information will come out. It might not be helpful, but it does come out, and that is the situation we find ourselves in. Apparently, the board are extremely unimpressed by the lack of results over the last couple of months. And so be it. That is exactly where we find ourselves in. Nobody upon anybody can actually defend what has gone on. And even me, that has been very indecisive in terms of, or in between, or, indifferent. Moyes indifferent. I'm struggling to understand the future of where the West Ham board and West Ham club are wanting to go. I fear that a season without European football next year would be very detrimental to West Ham. In actual fact, put us back quite far, quite dramatically. My concern about that is, where's the growth? We've had the growth over the last 3 years, and we need to keep that momentum, and we need to keep that trajectory heading one way. And right now, you can't help but feel, okay, yeah, we're in the last 16 of the Europa League, but our trajectory isn't looking good. We've got a thin squad. We've got lacking of ambition. We've got the lack of intensity in the defence. We're conceding goals. We've conceded 6 against Arsenal, 5 against Liverpool, 5 against Fulham. I can't remember the last time watching West Ham that we've conceded so many goals, just naming that a few games, into double figures, into the teens amount of goals we conceded over 3 games, and it's not really good. Defensively, if we're going to play the low block, we need to be able to get results. And I get that we are, in theory, have some form of consolidation. I said earlier in the season, consolidation potentially was good for West Ham, but I'm starting to see that maybe that isn't the way forward. Maybe for the first time in our West Ham career, we grab the bull by the horns and try and push forward, understanding that it's a big, massive risk at West Ham. I understand the big risk is to move away from what we're used to. I thank you, Mr. David Moyes, for giving us the best experience of my life, best time supporting West Ham. But I wonder if it is time to move on. The issue we have, though, is simply one man and one man only. And it is about David Sullivan, because he's risk averse. He will never take those risks. And the risks that he does tend to take are based upon sometimes what the fan wants. And if you think back to when he got rid of Slaven Bilic and he brought in Pellegrini, when he got rid of David Moyes the first time and brought in Pellegrini, and then when he got rid of Pellegrini and brought David Moyes in for the second time, he put a statement out on the West Ham website, and it read something along the lines of, "It's what you fans wanted." It was something like that. And it just makes me think that you don't do your due diligence. You don't do it to the level of thinking progression moving forward. At the time, we were struggling. We brought David Moyes in, and he saved us from relegation, and he gave us and has given us 3 wonderful years. No matter how you see what things are on the pitch, he has gave us 3 wonderful years on the park. He has, you can overcompensate. The European win, takes away from the fact that we didn't play well in the Premier League. It did, but we got that memory. It's locked in, and it will stay with us forever. But the issue we have is this guy here, David Sullivan. Is he going to make the move? Will he make the move? Will he push the boundaries? Will he take the risk? I understand being risk averse. David Moyes is good for business, but is David Sullivan willing to take that risk and try and grab the bull by the horns and progress this club to the next stage? Because right now, I am fearful. I am not going to lie to you. I don't think West Ham not getting European football is a very good look for us, because we've got players. We're attracting some of the best players from around Europe. We've got Tim Steidten in control of situations behind the club, and I don't want that to fall by the wayside, Put your comments in and let me know your thoughts. Apparently, though, listen, many people are talking about who could come in next, and there's loads of links coming out from managers. And this is the West Ham manager search, the merry-go-round, you name it, whatever you want to talk about. But there is one player, manager that we will talk about in the coming days, and that is Pablo Fonseca. The one thing about him, he's a manager at Lille right now, but he wants his teams to be in control of games, keeping possession of the ball as much as possible, and he wants his teams to be the attacking team. So in terms of the style of play, where people are calling for a specific style of play, that's exactly maybe the chance to move into a manager like that. There's risks attached to this. However, the risks of West Ham trying to play a low block and conceding 9 goals in 2 games doesn't plead well for us. I understand consolidation. I get it to a certain extent, but I'm starting to even sway myself on what the future of West Ham looks like. And this guy could be the geezer. You know, when possession is lost, he says that you need to force teams into the spaces that they don't want to get into, rather than just sitting back and allowing them to come at you and dictate the form of play. He says you can dictate the form of play when on the ball and when off the ball. So it sounds a kind of exciting opportunity. You know, he's a team is in control on and off the ball, constant control. Control the ball, control the space, control the game. And they call that the Fonseca mantra. So that is potentially a kind of forward-thinking, exciting option for West Ham, but there's no guarantees when it comes to West Ham's manager situations. People say, will he come now? And if he doesn't come now, if we were to move away from David Moyes, who could be a short-term solution? I'm not saying this guy could be and will be the short-term solution, because I'm not saying it was the best, time of my life at 2016, leaving Upton Park. That season was unbelievable under Slaven Bilic. But I wonder if he knows, and Clara and Hugh said themselves, bringing someone in who has managed the club before, who knows what West Ham stand for, who knows the ownership of the club, then maybe he could be a short-term solution for us, coming in and understanding what the fans are looking for. And the risk-averse part of this is that we're not going to get relegated this season. It's not mathematically guaranteed, but the chances are extremely slim. The risk averse of this is, obviously, if we put all our eggs in one basket in Europe, we're in the round of 16, but we have to try and get European football, because I think not getting European football could be disastrous for our club. So would it be Slaven Bilic for you, or would it be Pablo Fonseca for you? You put it in the comments, let me know. Or are you still happy with the David Moyes situation? We're on the understanding that talks have been stalled. What's interesting about this scenario is, if you are a manager and you're in the last year of your contract, talks will take place throughout the year. So David Moyes is probably not wrong in stating that, yeah, we're in conversations about the future growth of the club, the future of the club here, there, and everywhere. Of course, he's probably right. And of course, every now and then they'll bring up the circumstances. And when things are going well, West Ham react to that sometimes. And you hear that we're kind of in discussions. But when things are going bad, then how many more times will this geezer here offer David Moyes the must-win game? You know, it's became away from, the board backing the manager, the faithful backing of the manager. Now it seems to be that West Ham give the manager David Moyes one more game to win, and Moyes turns it round and progresses the club. Now listen, essentially, I'm not digging him out. I'm not digging out Mr. David Moyes. I'm just merely saying to you that I wonder now if this is the time, this is the season, this is the time for progression. We didn't make the move in the summer. I wonder if this is the opportunity now. But we all know what David Sullivan's like. Will he put his hand in his pocket? Will he make a decision? Will he grab the bull by the horn? I don't know. He probably won't. There's your Hammers headlines for today. Short and sweet. Put your comments in. Let me know your thoughts. Hit the thumbs up. And of course, come on, you Irons.